In this video series, we talk about doing PhD in the Netherlands. I'm Dr. Rashid Gabdulhakov, assistant professor at the Center for Media and Journalism Studies at the University of Groningen in the Netherlands. I would like to share with you my personal experience of finding, doing, and defending PhD in the Netherlands and subsequently building an academic career here. I've already posted a couple of videos. The first one talked about the pros and cons of doing a PhD. I'm leaving a couple of links in the description to this video where you can watch previously shared information, and hopefully you have already made up your decision. Yeah, so this one is for those who want to continue and still pursue a PhD even after having watched the ins and outs and the pros and cons video. I have shared a few tips on how to look for a PhD position in the Netherlands. The best website, of course, for that is Academic Transfer, and we will talk about that one today. So I'm going to share my screen here. So Academic Transfer is the go-to place for finding academic jobs in the Netherlands. And here you can select your language. It's offered in English and in Dutch. And you can find your position with a simple keyword search. For instance, let's assume you're looking for a PhD in media. Can be any field, of course. So we will type in media in keyword here, and we will find different levels. So we see PhD, postdoc, professor, associate, assistant, lecturer, research, development, innovation, education. Let's select PhD because these video series are dedicated to PhD positions. You can even narrow down by finding an academic field, but let's for now focus on media more broadly. As you can see, we have received 45 results, and we can further select whether we want the positions to be displayed by the approaching deadline or by the date they were published. For instance, you are monitoring this website every day, and you are checking in, once a day, looking for that golden position of yours. You probably want to hit published. So we see the latest position was 22nd March, PhD position at the Technical University in Delft. 2 PhD candidates in Maastricht, PhD candidates for behavioral science in Radboud University. So quite a few positions have been published lately. You can also hit on the deadline and see, okay, is there something that is approaching in the coming days? We see PhD position on erosion of silicate grouting in construction pits. So sometimes there are fields that are merging here. You see PhD position, full-time, 4 years, different universities, different descriptions. You have to really cruise through and see what is there for you. I would say, monitor this a couple of times a week, not to miss something, and maybe make yourself a kind of a schedule that every Monday you check Academic Transfer. Academic Transfer will have most positions, but it's not guaranteed that all of them will be here. Sometimes it's also worthy to sign up to specific accounts, social media accounts of the universities you are willing to apply to, you are aiming to apply to. So follow them across social media, sign up for their newsletter as well. And let's see, once you have identified that dream PhD position, let's say PhD candidate in political science, for instance, probably with the media component, since we see media here. So let's click on Leiden University, see what the requirements are. So the deadline is approaching on the 29th of March. The position was published on the 5th of March. We can see the following description here. Usually it's the standard standard type of information that is shared here. So 1.0 FTE means that it's full-time employment. It's the number of hours you work per week. In the Netherlands, full-time 38 hours a week is normal to be considered full-time. It's typical. Basically, you are given a certain amount of hours per year. If you opt for working 40 hours a week, then you get more vacation days, I think up to 41 days. Please always triple check the information. I'm only sharing my personal experience, and I'm not a professional HR I'm not professional HR. I'm just sharing my own experiences here. And sometimes we can even work 0.8, and then it'll be a few hours a week, 38, I think, or so. And you also get fewer vacation days, but still it's quite plenty, to be honest. So PhD, behavior and society is the field. This is the range of salary you will be getting, from 2,770 to 3,539 euros per month. Basically, your starting salary as the first year PhD candidate will be this one, 2,770. And then every year you will get more money. You can find the pay scales. It's open access, open data, of course. Type in the Google search pay scales, academic pay scales, Netherlands. You will find the latest from many universities. You can also find them at NVO website, NWO. It's a Dutch Research Council. And see what you can count on. You can also use different online tools to see how much money this will be after the deduction of income tax and other payments. As an international employee, you might qualify for 30% ruling, which basically means that you pay, 30% of your income is not taxed. It can be quite a substantial relief in the end of the day, but that is something to keep in mind. So this might seem like a lot of money, but keep in mind that it will be taxed. And the life in the Netherlands is also very expensive. Rent is increasingly expensive. Food is expensive. Public transport, all the things you need to consider. Please calculate them in advance. Also, if you are coming with, assuming you are an international looking for a PhD position in the Netherlands, and if you are coming with a family, keep that in mind as well, that probably you need double income. So your partner will have to look for something as well here, or maybe work remotely, because surviving together, especially if you have kids, it might be even more complicated on this amount of money, is quite difficult. This salary has increased recently because of the inflation. It has been adjusted to inflation, but still, once again, after tax, after having paid, you have to pay your rent. Rent is super expensive. Finding housing is very difficult. After you pay your health insurance, after you pay for your internet, your phone, although they do give you a bit of a subsidy for the internet at the universities now, but you'll still have to pay for your mobile phone. You pay other bills. You want to eat, probably. You want to buy some clothes. You want to travel home at least once a year, hopefully. Yeah, so quite a bit of quite a few expenses to consider. But if two people work, it should be quite enough. Yeah. So key responsibilities. Immediately there is a description of what you will be working on as part of the position of this PhD researcher. The candidate will receive PhD research training. The candidate will be expected to teach 2 courses per year, usually as tutorial instructor. Keep this one in mind. The typical, again, we're talking just of course, there will always be outliers, but the typical PhD in the Netherlands is 4 years, 80% research, 20% teaching. And usually you work in somebody else's course as a tutorial instructor, yeah, as a seminar leader. Sometimes they're called tutorials, sometimes these are called seminars. When I was doing my PhD, we had quarters at Erasmus University. So I had 2 quarters where I taught, which basically means very little time for research, very little time for creative work, because teaching is demanding. Especially, of course, it gets easier once you get more experience, once you teach the same course for a couple of subsequent years. But for the first few courses, it's super demanding. If you assign your students, let's say 2 papers to read, you have to read 6 papers. Yes, so you have to have more knowledge, of course, you have to be prepared, and that means very little room for creative work. Also, it's a cycle, right? You have prepared your lecture, your tutorial, you delivered it, you worked with students, then you answer emails, then you check their work, you start grading, then you prepare for the next course. And especially if you have several courses at the same time, that's super demanding. So plan in advance, talk to your supervisors, talk to the task allocation folks, and make sure that you have some teaching free blocks terms, quarters, what have you. Yeah, sometimes it's semester system, sometimes it's quarter system. Talk to the people at the uni and make sure you have teaching free time so that you can focus on your research. You can go to the field, collect your data otherwise, and analyze it and attend conferences and do also that substantial part of your PhD, of course. Let's see. Selection criteria. So applicants must hold or be near completing of a research master degree. As you can see, research word is in parentheses. That means that having a research master is not guaranteed. I receive emails about PhD at least once a week. So people reach out to me and say, hey, I'm thinking about PhD. Can you consult me? And one of the common questions is, do I have to have a research master? No, you don't have to have a research master degree. You can have a regular MA, and then it only means that you will take more courses during your PhD. In the Netherlands, it's a bit different than in North America. Yeah, you don't take your courses for 1 year and then you do your PhD. You can take the PhD courses throughout your journey. And in fact, they are divided into kind of first year, second year, and so on type of courses. So from my own experience, here is my dissertation that I defended in 2021. And in the end, there is even a list of courses followed section. So I followed a variety of tailored courses, which were absolutely fantastic. They were so useful and really helped me in both practical and theoretical terms. So for instance, just to give you some examples of the type of courses I took ethnography and its varieties. That was a very useful course for my fieldwork. Introduction to Participatory Action Research, Cross-Cultural Awareness and Communication, Making an Academic Poster that Stands Out, Work-Life Balance. That is a very important one. Yeah, that was a great course that gave me so many tools. At one point, maybe I will share the things I learned from there as well. Very good tips how when you are at work, the more everyday life type of issues should not penetrate your workspace, right? So you need to have the deep concentration, deep work state. So you focus on your research, focus on analysis, you don't get distracted. Whereas, of course, when you clock out and come home, which is very difficult for academics to do, to clock out, you need to even change your clothes, into house attire so that you mentally transform spaces. Again, difficult to do when you work from home, for instance, but something to practice as well. Maybe when you have your working hours, you dress up. When you are clocking out, even if you're working from home, you dress down, and that creates that the difference between being at work and mentally clocking out. That is very important. And of course, when you're writing your PhD, that is something I addressed in the pros and cons. There is always this mountain on your shoulders, this cloud over your head, whatever analogy you want to use, that is constantly reminding you, you must write, you must write, you must write. And it's very easy to feel guilty when you're sitting with your friends. You think, wow, I should have been writing, I should have been writing. So learn, it's an important topic to dwell upon. So I will dedicate maybe a separate video to it, how to manage time and how to do the work-life balance during your PhD journey. That was a very helpful course. But just to give you an idea of what kind of courses you can take, brush up on your research design. Again, a very useful course. It allowed me to reflect on my research questions and on the methodologies that I selected, and to really evaluate whether the selected methodology matches the goals of the project. Delphi technique. Then I participated in a couple of winter schools. These also count. If they give you credit, they count towards the required credit acquirement. I took the Atlas.ti coding course for qualitative researchers. Atlas.ti is a really useful software, and I learned how to use it and received 1 credit for it. Amazing. I took basic didactics. That one is required. Another good topic to briefly stop on. You are expected to teach. Usually you are thrown into the cold water. You basically say, they say, here is a course you will teach, or courses even. Congratulations and good luck. And then within a year or two, you can take the basic didactics course where they teach you some theoretical and practical skills of teaching. At Erasmus University, I took the course, and yeah, there is a great book that you receive, and they do a mock class where they talk to your classmates while you are waiting outside, and each person receives an assignment. Someone is being that difficult student, someone is being a pill, basically, and they record how you will manage that. They record your mock lecture of 15 minutes or so, then you watch it and analyze it together with the coach. Absolutely useful, from how you begin the course, how you welcome the students, how you use your nonverbal communication, to how you manage students who are mentally clocked out, students who are maybe working on something else during the course, students who are being provocative, sometimes even bordering aggression, because all of these cases might come to be during your teaching experience, and you need to be prepared to navigate them. So you will have a chance to take tailored courses. And yeah, basically it means that if you have a research master, you take fewer of these courses. If you don't have a research master, you take more of these courses. But again, from my personal experience, many of these courses, if not all that I took, were very useful. And of course, you are the one taking these courses. You are the one deciding. There are some mandatory courses such as integrity and basic didactics, but otherwise you have a chance to select what is necessary for you. Let's see. Okay, affiliation, motivation, prior training in quantitative research, and good command of it. So that is something to consider as well. If you are more of a qualitative researcher and you find this kind of position, we probably have to really see whether this is for you or not, and whether you can train yourself in quantitative research for the position. Prior training in computational social sciences, experience with programming in R or Python, or are the advantages. But again, you can also justify that you will quickly learn. Applicants must meet the English language requirement. Okay. And working understanding of Farsi, Persian is an advantage. So always see what your strengths are, what your skills are, and whether this is a position for you or not. Again, I just selected a random position just to play around with it and see what we can learn from it. Then there is information about the faculty, about the institute. My suggestion is research it really well. See who is working there. See who your prospective PhD supervisors are. Do a bit of research on them. Watch their videos on YouTube if there are some. Of course, read their work without a say. If they are already supervising someone, don't be afraid to reach out to their PhD candidates, to their supervisees, and say, hey, can we maybe briefly talk? I'm looking for, I'm very interested in this position. I'm considering applying. Can we have a brief talk about your experience? Of course, don't take their experience as 100% reference, because everyone's journey is unique and different, but do gather your intelligence. Be very well informed. Okay. If we click on apply now, there is more information that is coming up here. So we can apply via the employer's website. And here is the information that we need in terms of what to prepare. So applicants should submit a letter of interest, maximum 2 pages, an academic CV, transcripts, a research statement, maximum 1 page, and a writing sample. Names and contact details of 3 academic people who can be directly contacted for a recommendation letter. No reference letters have to be submitted at this time. So again, usually, and we will see that sometimes there are outliers, but normally when you have the ly ending, it means that it's not 100% true. Normally, usually, yeah. But the typical scenario is that they ask you to provide the names of potential referees, but they don't ask you to provide the recommendation letters immediately, because they don't want to waste your time in case they don't even invite you for the interview. And there is something to be cherished in the Dutch academia, because for me, that was annoying when I was looking for PhD and when I was applying to other countries, when they asked for reference letters for 3 copies of printed applications shipped via DHL. That was absolutely bizarre, because in the end of the day, even if they don't invite you to the interview, you have wasted your own time, the time of other people, and money. Yeah, if you apply for 10 positions and you send DHL each time 100 euros, that's 1,000 euros just for nothing. And if you're coming from the, if you in a marginal economic position, living in a country with low income, that is unacceptable. That is just a barrier, unnecessary barrier, and it's an economic barrier. So it's one of those negative and absolutely disturbing parts of academia. Also, as you can see, what you are asked to submit is very minimal. Yeah, 2 pages max, 1 page max. That's also very common for PhD selection in the Netherlands. You are usually asked to submit a very short project design, project idea, maybe 500, 700 words, because people just want to see what your skills are, whether you can take ownership of the project, where you are thinking about navigating the project, to what direction. And you will have then 6 months to work on your research proposal. So once again, you just need to demonstrate your strengths, and you need to demonstrate that you are in line with the demands of the project, that you are the right person. And I would say be as specific as possible. It's a fine balance, in fact. Yeah, you want to show that you know what you are getting into, that you understand the topic, that you understand, some of the canonical literature, of course. And this is also a chance to show your methodological skills. But once again, having had the experience now of doing this myself, and then also being present on selection committees for PhD candidates, sometimes you get a fantastic application on paper, an excellent CV, great proposals, and so on. Then you talk to a person, and it's a very different story. Sometimes the contrary happens, maybe a weaker project description, but then you talk to the person and they know exactly what they want and what they can offer. So some people are better writers, other people are better verbal communicators. But be careful, because if you don't put these things in writing, you might get the so-called, the desk rejection, let's call it, because when people look at your CV and think, well, I don't see anything relevant here, I don't see relevant experiences here, I don't have no language skills, no theoretical skills, no methodological skills. So carefully design your application, and of course, tailor it to each position, and you will have a higher chance of being selected. So this is it in a nutshell for now. If you have decided that the PhD is for you, if you have decided that the Netherlands is a country for you, academic transfer is the website to go to. But that's, again, it's not the only tool. Do sign up to the social media profiles of prospective universities where you want to work. And in the Netherlands, PhD is employment. Sign up for their newsletters. Follow particular researchers on X, Twitter, Mastodon, on other social media, on LinkedIn especially. LinkedIn is huge in the Netherlands. LinkedIn is very important for academia, for academic positions. So do open a LinkedIn account if you don't have one. If you already have one, brush up on it. Yeah, see what can be changed. Update your profile picture, write a catchy objective, share your skills, publish a couple of times a week, even if you're just sharing somebody else's thoughts, so that the machine is fed and you appear on the top of the searches, and really use these digital tools for your advantage. That's it for today. We'll discuss other topics in further videos. Good luck, and as we say in the Netherlands, doei-doei.